Appreciate it if you left me a comment. Tell me what's on your mind. How have things changed since Joe Biden's been elected? And it's really funny. And one of the things that really bothers me is the fact that a lot of people, they will pretend like there's nothing wrong. They'll pretend like everything is fine. They'll pretend like this is, everything that's going on exactly how it's supposed to go. That Joe Biden is, just like every other president, and nothing ever is out of whack or out of sorts or anything along those lines. And it just pisses me off. I would give anything. I would absolutely give anything for somebody to be completely and totally honest with me. You know, I just want you to be totally honest with me. This is not what you voted for. I know it's not what I voted for. I can't imagine 81 million people that voted for this shit. Sky high inflation. A pack of chicken wings right now costs you upwards of 10 to 12 bucks. A pack of chicken wings. Gasoline, the highest it's ever been. Joe Biden falls over on his bicycle. I mean, there's something seriously wrong with this man. But you guys you act like nothing's wrong. You act like there's nothing wrong whatsoever, like everything's perfectly fine. Yes, this country is completely different than it was 20 years ago. Yeah, I agree with you, Cache. Um, man, there's so much that I want to talk about. I just don't know where to begin. If you see hesitation on my face or in my voice, that's exactly what it is. That and the fact that my comments are not populating right now, so I have to kind of use I have to use an overview on my Facebook page on my cell phone in order to see the comments. But this is sickening and it's terrible. It's just I can't drive my truck. My truck is diesel. Okay, I can't afford to put diesel fuel in my own truck. I've got a 27-foot boat. I live on an island. I've got a 27-foot boat. I can't even put it in the water this year. Why? Because I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Kathy says they ignored Biden like they ignored Obama. Yep. Obama got into office and did pretty much anything that he wanted to do. Anything and everything that he wanted to do. And it's terrible. It's just, like I said, I don't even know where to start. Barack Obama got in there, and I really do think that he's the one that started this crap with the executive orders. The executive order this, the executive order that, so on and so forth. And then the next thing you know, you got Donald Trump that goes in there. Donald Trump, I don't necessarily know whether or not he actually said or actually did half of the things that people say that he did. I don't know. But I know that Joe Biden couldn't wait. I know that Donald Trump got in there and undid a lot of things that Barack Obama did. That's because Barack Obama passed a lot of executive orders that were unconstitutional. So that's the reason why Joe Biden or Donald Trump got in there and did what he did. But then here it comes along, and I told everybody back then, I said the exact same thing back then that I'm saying right now. Your boy's not going to be in office forever. He's just not. He's not going to be in office forever, whoever it is. I said the same thing. I said it during Barack Obama's presidency. I said it during Donald Trump's presidency, and I'm saying it during Joe Biden's presidency. Your boy's not going to be in office forever. And watch what precedents you set while your president is in office. Because if you think your guy can do it, wait until our guy gets in there. Here we go. Joe Biden's in there doing X, Y, and halfway to Z. A whole bunch of unconstitutional bullshit. So much so that the Supreme Court had to come out and actually do something about it. But you know what? We're going to get into that in a little bit. So, how's everybody doing today? I see I got one comment that popped up. I believe that's from Facebook. I'm wondering what's going on. I'm trying to figure out how I can get all the comments to populate. But, like I said, this is my very first time using this platform. So, try not to hold it against me. I'm just trying to make things pop, make things work, make things happen. So, but here on the conservative minded podcast, we don't have a color. Okay. We don't have a color. Our color is red, white, and blue. That's our color. So make sure you guys leave a comment. Make sure that you go and check out my webpage. And let's move on to the next topics. So the next topics that I want to talk about are, how come nobody is being held responsible for their failures in this administration? No one's lost their job. No one's been suspended. You've got senators out here twerking. You've got AOC, who's got to be one of the dumbest damn people to ever hold public office. She just opens up her mouth and just crap just comes out of her mouth. We got an avowed Muslim, like basically a damn terrorist, in Ilhan Omar up there in office. We've got prosecutors that are refusing to try cases. We've got mayors that are just completely turning a blind eye to violent crime in their cesspool cities. Is this what you voted for? I mean, you got, what's that name? What's his name? Eric Adams up there in New York. The dude literally has no clue what the hell he is so in over his head. I don't live in New York. Okay. I don't really care what happens in New York. That's just me. But I can tell you that Eric Adams is in over his head. He has no clue what the hell he's doing as the mayor up there of New York City. Just like the sheriff of Charles County in Maryland, he was just so thirsty to get in there in office because they need a new black guy. They need a first black guy. So thirsty to get in there. And, you get in there and you're completely in over top of your head. You're over your head. Yeah, and no one's being held responsible for anything. Why hasn't the mayor of or the governor of New York said something to the mayor of New York City? Why is it that the damn mayors in the mayor in Philadelphia is letting that daggone district attorney down there in Philadelphia let these violent criminals free and just run rampant, refusing to prosecute them for violent crimes? You want to take a look at somebody for all this gun violence and stuff out here? Take a look at the district attorneys that are turning these people loose. When you're a criminal and you're willing to shoot some damn body, you're going to be walking the street next week. You go out here, you commit a violent fucking crime, you shoot some damn body, God forbid you kill them. You go, they drum it down to manslaughter or something like that, no cash bail. You're back out on the street in 24 to 48 hours. The comment right here, look around you. No one in this country is being held responsible for their actions. Kathy, you're absolutely correct. No one's being held responsible for their actions. No one in the administration, the White House, the Senate, which is, what's that guy's name? Mitch McConnell. He's a damn disgrace. I can't believe they keep sending that dude back up there at all. He's terrible. Absolutely terrible. He's terrible for the Republican Party. He's a terrible senator. Okay. But I don't understand how these people can continue to keep getting reelected. And on top of that, how the people that they answer to, us, keep sending them up there. How come nobody's being held responsible or accountable for the things that they do? It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So, man, I am just overwhelmed right now. I'm overwhelmed. I'm already 16 minutes in. I got a couple comments up here. It's pretty cool. Kathy, do me a favor. Are you on my personal page or are you on the conservative minded Facebook page? So if you could answer that for me, I'd appreciate it. That way I have an idea of, going forward where I'm at. So talking about other things, it's just like, it's so expensive right now. I can't put my boat in the water. It's too expensive for me to drive a truck that I paid for. I can only imagine how people, conservative minded, gotcha. I can only imagine how people who are living from paycheck to paycheck, people who are literally, trying to figure out how they're going to make ends meet, how they're going to feed their kids, how they're going to put food on the table. I can only imagine what it is that these people go through on a regular basis. It's absolutely terrible. Sorry about that, folks. I had to throw something in here real quick. That's one of the reasons why I like this. And then, one of the reasons why I like it is because I've constantly got administrators from StreamYard that are monitoring me. And so if I have any questions about anything, they have no problem jumping in there and letting me know, hey, if you want to do this, you might want to consider doing that. And, as expensive as it is, I can understand, I can understand it. But at the same time, it's very important to make sure that, you learn what it is that you're doing and how to do it. Um, so let's see here. Okay, I made the change. Awesome. So back to square one. My cigar went out, y'all. You know what? I'm not drinking alcohol tonight, which is actually last night was the first night. A little sidebar, real quick. Last night was the first night that I actually had a drink, and you know what? It wasn't very enjoyable. I had some bourbon, which is like one of my favorite drinks. It's my go-to. I don't have any hangovers, and it doesn't get me tore up, messed up. But I'm not a very big fan of alcohol that much, especially lately. So, uh, you know, we're going to go to the. I have a friend of mine that was trying to tell me something really really slick. She said, "Big Rob, Mister Helliver, which is my name." She says, you need to give your whiteboard a name." So I think we're going to call it the Fact Finder the Fact Finder 9000. That's what we're getting ready to go to, the Fact Finder 9000. Here we go. I want to introduce everybody that's never seen this before. This right here is the Fact Finder 9000. All right. And I will also use my little pointer pen right here to kind of point out things. So we've got golf carts riding up and down the street. Yes. So here we go. Number one, the assassination attempt of Justice Kavanaugh. You notice how you don't hear about that very much on the news media anymore, do you? There's a guy that came all the way from California and traveled all the way. Well, thank you, Kathy. She says she absolutely loves the board. Thank you very much. This guy came all the way from California, all the way over here to assassinate Justice Kavanaugh. How come we don't hear anything about that anymore? You want to know the reason why? Because the news media is in bed with the Democrat Party. That's the reason why you don't hear about it anymore. And it's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It's the same thing that happened when Steve Scalise got shot down there on the softball field, and that police officer killed the gunman. Steve Scalise was in the hospital fighting for his life, and you never heard anything much about the news media about it. Why? Because he's a Republican and nobody cares. And it's the same thing with Justice Kavanaugh. Nobody cares. And that's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. Everybody, I guarantee you, if I was to walk through the mall and ask 20 people if they knew about the assassination attempt or the assassination plot against one of the Supreme Court justices, they wouldn't know anything about it. Media, shame on you. And we could talk about the assassination of Prime Minister Abe over in Japan, who was actually Donald Trump's, a very close friend of Donald Trump's. The way that they killed that man was a damn shame. He was a former prime minister of Japan. And it's an absolute damn shame how they did that or why they did that. Okay? But we don't hear anything about that either. You want to know why? Because he was very tight with the Republican presidents. That's the reason why. The news media is definitely in bed with the Democrat Party. And I've been saying that for years. It's written right in front of your face. Let's talk about Donald Trump's Las Vegas rally. This is an actual quote from President Trump. He said, and I quote, "We just want to have It's very simple. A great country again. At this point in time, with the way that Joe Biden and this administration is running everything, who doesn't want to have a great country anymore? I know that I do. I want gasoline to go back down to $2 a gallon. I want to be able to go and buy a pack of chicken wings for $7.39 like I used to. I want to be able to do these types of things. I want to be able to put gas in my boat. I want to be able to put diesel fuel in my truck. I want to go to work without having to come home, get up, and then turn around and do it all over again so I can get paid, barely make my bills, and then turn around and do it all over again. So, I mean, we're barely making it here. And I mean barely. We're barely making it here. But Donald Trump, all he wants to do is make America great again. And how can you disagree with that after watching what they're trying to ram climate change down our damn throats? It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. You know what they're going to do? They're aging out our vehicles right now. See, it's a strategy. Follow me now, okay? They're aging out our vehicles. And the reason why is because you can't afford to buy a new car right now. So what do? You pay these sky-high gasoline prices so that you can get to and from work, so that you can get to and from the supermarket, so that you can get to and from where you need to go. Meanwhile, the car that you've got is aging. It's getting older. You can't afford to go out and buy a $90,000 Tesla, right? So as your vehicle gets older and eventually it will die, and you're used to paying all this outrageous money for fossil fuels, when you do buy a new car, guess what? Ford is switching to all-electric vehicles pretty soon. General Motors has followed right behind them. So pretty soon, guess what? The only car that you're going to be able to buy when you can afford to buy one, if you can afford to buy one, will be an electric one. It's all strategy. That's what it is. They're forcing you, they're aging our vehicles out right now. And they're forcing us to pay $5, $6 for a gallon of gas so that when our vehicles break down and we go to the daggone dealership to buy a new one, guess what? You're going to buy an electric one. That's what they're forcing us to do. Remember that come November. Move on to the next one. Right here, expect Donald Trump to run again in 2024. I sure as hell hope so. You heard it come out of my mouth. I sure as hell hope that Donald Trump runs again in 2024. I can't take much more of this. I have no earthly idea how in the hell we're going to make it through the next 2 years. I am praying. I get down on my knees and pray to whatever God you pray to. I pray that what happens in November is a red landslide so that we can stop this weirdo from doing this stupid stuff that he does up there in that administration, in that Oval Office. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Expect Donald Trump to run again in 2024. Expect DeSantis to be his vice president because Pence ain't doing it again. So let's see here and talk real quick. I touched about it earlier. I'm going to talk about all this stuff right here. So far, under Biden, we've got $83 billion in weapons left in Afghanistan. No one lost their, and plus we lost, 7 Americans over there? Who lost their jobs? I mean, that's the least that could happen, right? Somebody's responsible for what happened over there. Nope, not in this administration. Not in this administration at all. No one loses their jobs. No one's held accountable. That's a failure from the top down in leadership. You keep talking about economics from the bottom up, and then just trickle down economics doesn't work and all that other stuff that a lot of you lefties are used to saying. Well, guess what? In the military, orders come from the top down. And somebody needs to be held responsible for $83 billion worth of weaponry left over there. But yet and still, you'll sign and pass $83 billion worth of aid packages to send to the Ukraine. How about this? Why don't you have the Ukraine fly to Afghanistan and then wrestle that $83 billion worth of weaponry from the Taliban and then take it back, and they could use whatever they want to use against Russia over there if they can get it from Afghanistan. But no one lost their job. And no one's held responsible for it. And that's disgusting. I wish that I could do my job as piss poorly as those people have been doing theirs. Number 2, re-entry into the I need to erase that one right there. Yes, even Even the fact board 9,000 sometimes gets it incorrect. Let's go on to number 3. Supply chain issues. I got a store around the corner here that's being refurbished. You want to know the reason why it was supposed to open up in the spring of 2022 and it's not open yet? Because the refrigerators and the coolers and stuff like that are stuck on a slow boat from China. That stuff was supposed to be here in December and November of last year. It's still not here, and it's July 2022, a year, almost 6 months later, 7, 8, not almost 9 months later. It's terrible. It's disgusting, and it's unnecessary and uncalled for. We got supply chain issues. Since when have we ever had supply chain issues in the United States of America? We're supposed to be the greatest country in the world. You mean to tell me that we can't get a damn refrigerator when we're supposed to get it? Thanks, Joe Biden. We really appreciate it, homie. Supply chain issues. We got food shortages. Every time you turn around, food distribution centers are going up in flames. But you won't hear about it on the news media. You won't hear about it. It's terrible. You know, one thing, I rode my motorcycle one time in 2018. I rode it across the country. And I noticed when I was riding through Kansas that there was a lot of, number one, it was just flat, really, really flat. And so, besides it being really flat, it was, a lot of corn, just corn as far as the eye could see. I don't even know how they could even plant it in rows so neat like that. But you know what I picked up on almost immediately? I noticed that there was chain link fences with electricity around the top and cameras every quarter mile. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, who the hell puts cameras around cornfields? Is there something in there they don't want us to know about? That wasn't it. I had no idea, but a lot of these farmers and stuff out here, you know what they do? If food is considered for human consumption, they guard it. I didn't know that. They actually electrify the fence, they have cameras, and they have response teams. What farm has a response? What kind of response? I don't want to find out. But if you go down there and shake that ground, you're going to find out that because that corn is being grown for human consumption. Now, if it's just cattle feed or something along those lines, then, you just got cornfields like you do anywhere else. But out there in Kansas, if it's grown for human consumption, it's guarded. Tell me something. After all the effort and energy that goes into electrifying that fence, paying a response team, having those motorized cameras going back and forth and scanning the highway, someone's got to pay for all that. And all that corn that they grow and stuff like that, you mean to tell me that stuff goes up in flames? It's grown in Kansas. It's not grown in the Hubei province of China. It's not like it has to be flown over here on JetBlue. It's only a few states away. Why are we having food shortages? It's part of the plan. Number 5, 40-year high record inflation. The chairman of the Treasury, not the Treasury, the Fed. She sat there and said, well, we had no idea. We had no idea that inflation was going to hit us like it did. Wait a second. Isn't that what you get paid for? No one asks you. No one cares what you think about politics. No one gives a damn what you think about the shotgun formation. No one wants to hear you chant the Jets song. All we want you to do is monitor money. That's your number one job. No one cares. And you screwed it up. It's terrible. Let's see what Larry has to say. Larry says, I agree with that totally. He's a stupid person. A stupid person has ever run a country. He's destroying our country. He needs to be in prison for treason and breaking his oath of office. All he acts like is all he cares is for is gay people. Hey, I can't disagree. I can't agree with you more, Larry. Okay, this LGBTQ, this whole lesbian, gay, transgender is being shoved down our throats. I don't have any problem with lesbian or gays or any of those people. I couldn't care less. What you do in your bedroom is your business, not mine. But I don't want to hear about it every 5 minutes. I'm tired of hearing about it every 5 minutes. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Okay? If that's what you want, if that's what you like, then congratulations. Okay? Kathy says supply issues are orchestrated by the government. They cause panic by cutting off necessary products and creating a crisis people can't ignore. This way, they could do what they want while they're busy looking for a baby formula and necessary products. Well, most of the baby formula is down there on the daggone southern border, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So we get here, we're talking about food shortages and we're talking about 40-year record high inflation. Over here, we got the highest gas prices ever. I mean, we're paying $5-6 for a gallon of gas. That's the highest it's ever been. How come when I was a kid, I remember gasoline being 99 cents a gallon? I mean, raise your hand if you remember gasoline being under $1.20 for a gallon of gas. I remember when I got my Trans Am, the only thing that I would ever put in it was a Sunoco 94 Ultimate. Now there is no Sunoco 94 anymore. 94 octane. They took it away. It's just, I'm telling you, this country is going to hell. It's going to hell, man. Billions of dollars sent to the Ukraine. What the hell has the Ukraine ever done for us? Now, I feel bad for Zelensky. I feel bad for the people that are being slaughtered over there by that scumbag Vladimir Putin. I feel bad for you guys. I really do. But you know what? It's not our problem. It's not our problem. Why has the United States always got to be the first ones to race up there and be the first ones into everybody's business all the time? You got Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. You got Poland, Romania right there. You got Germany, who's responsible for all this shit. That's their problem. It's in their backyard. The United States needs to fall back and say, listen, yes, we're with you. We're part of NATO. We respect NATO. Tell you what, you guys handle the problem, and if you need our help, we'll be right here. And that's how you do it. Not sending $80, $90 billion worth of aid to Ukraine when we've got collapsing bridges, failure power grids, we've got air traffic control systems from the 1950s. I mean, we've got food shortages, record inflation. That money could be better used doing 1,000 other things than to be sitting over there in Kyiv some damn where. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. You take care of home. Charity begins at home. But yet and still, they're signing bill after bill after bill and sending it overseas. We're in a proxy war right now with Russia. Do you have any idea how dangerous that is? Do you have any idea what kind of nuclear? I mean, I'm a Cold War baby. All right, I'm used to a nuclear annihilation, the threat of it all the time. Okay. Not a problem. But what I'm saying is that do you have any idea how close we are to being wiped off the planet right now? And now there's reports out there that Vladimir Putin's about to die. Well, why not push the button? And now he's in a proxy war with the United States. What one final act of desperation? Hey, let's see what we can do to Washington D.C. before I kick the bucket. You guys don't think? Oh God. What else we got here? Lenient, you see stricter gun control laws. Vladimir Putin, might as well be Vladimir Putin. Joe Biden, there's a Freudian slip right there. Joe Biden signed an executive order, with some more gun control crap. It doesn't do nothing but make people like you and me, law-abiding gun owners, people that like to go to the range to relieve stress by punching holes in paper, seeing how long we can do, how long we could take a shot. Just, normal everyday things. It's like going out in the backyard and pitching balls into a hole in a cup in your backyard with a long metal stick called golf. Okay, that's what guns are. Okay, and they're a means of self-defense. But yeah, you got these guys up here and we want to take everybody's guns and guns this. Let me tell you something. And I've been meaning to say this, and I wanted to say it a little while ago, but I'm definitely going to say it right now. You want to start a civil war? You want to start Americans killing Americans? Ban guns and see what happens tomorrow. Ban guns today and see what happens tomorrow. You're going to have Americans killing each other left and right. You're going to have police officers showing up and knocking on your door. We heard that you have an AR-15. We've come to collect it. Well, it's not going to be pretty. And the thing about it is that a lot of these police officers and ATF agents, they're going to have to make a decision. Infringing on someone's unfairly infringing on someone's rights to unconstitutionally take their weapons away from them, keeping that badge on your chest. You're going to have to make a decision. Let's talk about, here's my personal favorite right here. Joe Biden, quiet as it's kept. Shh, don't tell anybody. Quiet as it's kept. Joe Biden has opened up the Strategic Petroleum Reserves. The Strategic Petroleum Reserves and started selling oil to China from our reserves. Oh, here's Jose. Jose makes a comment. Jose says the $1 billion aid doesn't go to the people of Ukraine because the Democrats politicians have their adult children who are drawing paychecks from that aid. Remember Hunter Biden, who got paid $83,000 a month. One has to wonder how much these Democrats are making. I couldn't have said it better. There's always a sham. There's always a scam. There's always something going on when it comes to these Democrats. Let me tell you something. They will fight you tooth and nail. They'll be dead wrong, but they'll fight you anyway. They're rich elitists. That's all Democrats are, just rich elitist people. That's all they're concerned about. Jose, you were absolutely right, man. So, sale of oil to China. He's opened up our strategic reserves and started selling our oil, our emergency stockpile of oil, to China. How long do you think it's going to take the next president to replace all that? Because I know he's not going to replace it. He's trying to get rid of fossil fuels, remember? How long do you think the next Republican president, it's going to take him to replace all the oil? Was it 1 million barrels a day he's selling? 180. I had the figures. I had them written. 181 million barrels of oil or something. Something crazy. And he started this back in December. This didn't just start. We're just hearing about it just now. So the June 6 hearings, it's all a sham. Just tying up the television airwaves. Because at the end of the day, the hearings are nothing but a 21st century witch hunt. A 21st century witch hunt. Not one, if you sat there and watched those January 6 hearings from beginning to the end, you know what? You didn't see one crime committed. It's not against the law to throw a glass against the wall. It's not against the law to have an argument with your driver. It's not against the law. You didn't see Donald Trump commit a single crime. Nothing. And that's the reason why you have not seen anybody from the January 6 hearings or the January 6 commission press for charges against Donald Trump, because there are no crimes to prosecute. None. Like I said, it's all in an effort to stop Donald Trump from running in 2024. That's what it's for. The southern border is open now as it's ever been before in its entire life. They stopped funding. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually tore down some of the fencing and some of the walls that Donald Trump put up. And remember when Donald Trump put those walls up and stuff before? When he put all that stuff up, he had to go and start hunting in the Department of Defense's budget for unused funds because Congress wouldn't give him the money to actually build the wall. You guys remember that? And he found the funding. And he started building the walls. This is pathetic, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Let's move on down the fact spitter board 9000 right here. Okay, let's see. More drugs flowing into the United States than ever before. Enough drugs were seized in one day off of 2 drug dealers to kill 253 million people. 253 million people. That's 2/3 of the population of the United States off of 2 drug dealers alone. Just 2. No one cares. No one in this administration gives a shit. No one gives a damn. So let's talk about something that's really, really important. Okay. I want you guys And everybody that watches this, I want you to pay really close attention to what I'm about to tell you. Okay. And if you're watching this after the fact, I want you to really pay close attention. I want you, if you have a Twitter account, I want you to go on to Twitter and I want you to go to this website right here, to this profile. It's at shutdown_DC. Okay. It's very important that you listen to what I'm about to tell you. Justice Kavanaugh was having dinner at an American steakhouse in Washington, D.C. a couple of nights ago. Because of this profile, this web address right here, people went on there and put a public sighting of Justice Kavanaugh. And people showed up and started kicking the restaurant windows and protesting outside of the restaurant that Justice Kavanaugh was doing nothing more than just having dinner at. So much so that they had to rush him out the back door. This web address right here at shutdown_DC is willing to pay you $50 for any public sightings of Republican Supreme Court justices. They're willing to pay you $50 right there. If you see a justice out there, that's Kavanaugh, that's Amy Coney Barrett, that's Clarence Thomas, it's even John Roberts, who's about as liberal as they come. He just has an R next to his name. Okay, they're willing to pay you $50. But here's how we get around that as Republicans, as true patriots, as real Republicans, as people that really care about the Supreme Court and all three separate but equal branches of government. That's legislative, executive, and judicial. Okay, here's what we do. You go to at shutdown_DC and start plugging in fake information. Okay. I just saw Justice Kavanaugh. He's walking his dog. Where? In Kansas City, Kansas. He's right here on the corner of 6th and St. Jude. Start plugging information that you know is false into these sites or into that particular site right there. If you hit them with enough false information, they'll have to shut it down. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to get the $50, but we get to keep our justices safe. And that is more important than any $50 that you could ever give me. So if you go to at shutdown_DC and start plugging in false information, I just saw, Clarence Thomas at Dairy Queen. I just saw Amy Coney Barrett at her son's softball game. I just saw, Justice Kavanaugh, I don't know, burning people at the stake. I don't know. You just start plugging in false information on Twitter now, okay? They're going to be chasing their tails to the point where they're just going to give up. All right. And that keeps our justices safe. So let's make sure that we all pitch in. It only takes 5 minutes of your time. All right. Coming on down here. Oh, my buddy over here, Biff. That's Biff right there in red. He's saying hi to everybody. All right. What's up, Biff? He's not home yet. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But down here, New York concealed carry. They want passwords to your social media accounts. They want you to literally hand over your password to your social media accounts so they can go in and inspect them. Well, you know me, being an engineer by trade, I can tell you that I get paid to solve problems. So I've come up with 2 solutions to solve this problem. When you apply in New York to go and get your concealed carry license, you give them the passwords. If you have a Facebook account, you're probably watching me on it right now. You have a YouTube channel, you're probably watching me on it right now. You have a Twitter account, you're not watching me on it yet. Then what you do is you give them the password. Okay. Then what you do is when you get to your car, change it. It's not hard. When you get home, change it. Okay. Or even better yet, before you go, create a fake profile, load up some pictures. Yeah, do it about a month before you apply. Create a page, go in there, be a liberal POS, the type of person that the government of New York wants you to be. Okay. Be a law-abiding, or should I say a race-baiting, law-breaking POS that the New York government wants you to be. Create a fake profile, take a bunch of pictures of, whatever, something disgusting and put it all over your Facebook profile. Walk in there and give them the password to it. All right. That's how you beat that. You give them change your password, create fake pages. All right. Listen, my fact finder, my fact board 2000 is running out of juice right there. For the first time, I made a mistake on it. That's my mistake. But here we go. Absolutely, Kathy's got it down. Shut down DC. Make sure you go there and you spoof them and hit them with as much false information as you possibly can about false sightings for the Supreme Court justices. Okay, let's keep our judges safe. All right, let's keep them safe. And the thing about it is that we need to do the same thing for the Democratic judges as well. We need to keep them as safe as well. Because at the end of the day, as much as I didn't like Barack Obama, as much as I didn't like Bill Clinton, as much as I don't like Chuck Schumer, as much as I hate Nancy Pelosi, there are elected representatives and we have to keep them safe. Period. Whether you agree with what they're doing or not. The only way that we can do something about it is by going to the ballot box and voting. And that's what we need to do. You don't like the way that somebody's performing, you change it, but do it the right way. The same thing with immigration. We're not saying don't come. We're not saying we don't want you. We're saying if you do decide to come the right way. Come and do it the right way. Why do you think the Hispanic population hates Joe Biden right now? Over 2/3 of the Hispanic population in the United States, they're Republican. They don't like what he's doing. They know that they're being used. It's not right. It's not cool. And that's exactly the reason why you've got two Mexican-born Latinas that are Republicans that just got elected for the first time. Hispanics ain't playing. They're not playing around. Not at all. And it's about time that the black people in this country start waking up and understand it. It's a shame that the Hispanic population in this country has recognized the truth before we have. It's a shame. Take a look at this. You got the afro, you got the elephant, you got the afro pick. We need to start waking up. Realize the truth. We're being used. The Democrat Party has never, not one time, done anything to benefit black people in this country. But yet and still, we line up like lemmings off a cliff to vote for these people. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. It makes my stomach hurt. I can't think of a single thing that the Democrat Party as a whole or individually has done to advance anything for black people. Every sacrifice, every bill, every vote, every time somebody stepped forward, you had how many people died in the Civil War? Yeah, white people that are from the Republican Party that tried to fight and free our asses for us to get up here and vote for the Democrat Party. It's absolutely terrible. Let's see what some of the comments have to say. This is the first time in America that there is a shortage on caskets. Let that sink in. Cache says that there is a first time, and this is the first time in America, there's been a shortage on caskets. They're going to take you back to 1867 and bury your ass in a pine box. Keep playing around. Keep the Democrats in office and see what happens. If what she is saying is correct, this is terrible. Terrible, terrible information to have. A shortage on caskets. Kathy says they've torn down huge sections of the wall. Absolutely. I mean, it's just disgusting. We've got, who is the biggest, it takes chemicals in order to create fentanyl. Do you know who makes the precursors for the chemicals that are used to make fentanyl? China. Them boats that are coming from China into Mexico, into the western half of Mexico, the western shores of Mexico, they're smuggling fentanyl. And you know where it's ending up? Right here in the United States. So that your son or daughter, your sister or brother, or your mother or father can overdose on it. And guess what? It's coming right across that border. We're hearing record seizures, and having been a former law enforcement officer myself, I know that for every one drunk driver that we get off the road, we miss 4. That's the average. For every one DUI that you get off the road, you miss 4. For every one drug dealer that they catch down there on that border, how many do you think are actually making it across? Fentanyl is 40 times more potent than heroin. I think it's 60 times more powerful than morphine. This is the administration. This is it. We got more comments from the comment section. Shortages on necessary medicines are becoming critical in the ER. Funny how drug dealers can get fentanyl, but hospitals can't. For those of you out there that like to smoke marijuana, which probably will be legal pretty much any time shortly, you better buy it from a dispensary. Okay? I'm not a marijuana advocate. I don't smoke it. I don't ingest it whatsoever. Okay? I don't care if you do. To me, it's just not my thing. It's not my bag. All right? I barely drink alcohol, and that is legal. All right? But if you're smoking marijuana, if you're eating marijuana edibles or THC edibles, you better get it from a dispensary. You better go to a reputable store and buy it, because anything you get off the street out here is probably laced. And I'm saying that because I care about you. I might not know you, but I care about you. And I don't want to see you laid up in the hospital with Kathy hanging over top of you, sticking IVs in your arm, trying to save your life. Or worse off, I don't want to see Cache lowering you down in a pine box. If you get something, you better get it from a reputable source. Because right now, their number one goal is to try to lace everything. And you're more apt to get sick by buying something off the street out here than you are by going to a reputable place and buying it yourself. That was a lot of information coming up on 54 minutes. I'm actually shocked that I was able to do it in less than an hour. I thought that this was going to run like an hour and a half to 2 hours or something along those lines. The fact that I was able to just kind of say what I had to say, with the Fact Finder Board 2015, 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea, we was able to spit facts to y'all and share some good information. But make sure that y'all go to shutdown _DC and spoof them and hit them with some information. The Fact Finder 9000. That's it. The Fact Finder 9000. Okay. Like I said, this is the first broadcast that I've done in a while. It's an hour, solo dolo. Of course, with everybody in the comments section. Love each and every one of y'all. Thank you very much for coming in here and leaving your comments. One of the more awesome things is that, I haven't quite figured out how to get my Facebook, and everybody that's watching on my Facebook personal profile. I want to say thank you for watching this long. I'm sure you guys have probably been making comments. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see them. The comments that I do see, they come from the conservative-minded page that I actually manage. And so if you wouldn't be so kind to shoot on over there, it's a picture of me, and, subscribe to it, like it, share it, be really much obliged. Conservative minded right there. I've also got a new website that's up. It's less than a week old. And the website is robertwaples.com. Okay. If you want to know a lot more about who I am, what makes me tick, I have a book coming out soon. Then go to robertwaples.com, and there you can read some pretty good information about me, snippets. You can see a couple of videos, a documentary. You'll see a snippet from a documentary that I was featured in. Another podcast that I'm a co-host of. And shout out to Comfortable Being Uncomfortable, the host Trent, Crystal, Miko, Doc Ron, the host and creator, and of course myself. Shout out to the Smoking Jacket broadcast, to Mr. Chris Petworth Riley, to beautiful Lanessa Terry, and my right hand man, Mr. Jay Ferd, and of course myself, where we talk about cigars, we talk about spirits, we talk about politics, we talk about everything on that show. And so make sure that you tune back in here to Conservative Minded. So me and the Fact Finder 9000, we got some work to do. You know what I mean? Going to get the studio hooked up here shortly, and make this a program that's worth watching. Make this something that you want to share with your friends. Make this something that you want to write home and tell your mom about. So, like I said, thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your time. And make sure that you tune back in here on Facebook tomorrow night, 8:00 p.m. for the Smoking Jacket broadcast. And make sure that you leave me a comment. Okay. Make sure you hit my DMs, hit me a messenger if you have any comments, concerns, or improvements, because I'm always looking. One of my favorite sayings is the biggest room in the entire world is the room for improvement. So I'm always trying to make myself better so that I can be somebody, I could be a source of information for you. Okay. I'm going to tell you all the things that you're not going to hear out here. Okay. The Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, they're all in bed with one party or the other. Me, I'm just going to hit you with nothing but facts. All right. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share. And next time, I might even have a couple of guests on with me. So make sure you guys come through. And Jose says, before I roll out, I want to make sure that I throw this comment up on the screen. He says, how do I find a Fact Finder 9000? Well, Mr. Jose, there's only one in existence. This is a prototype. Okay. And so therefore, we have not discussed any further plans of creating, recreating, or modifying the Fact Finder 9000 at this time. But coming soon, we will have Fact Finder 9000 t-shirts. We'll have Fact Finder 9000 baseball caps. We'll have Fact Finder 9000 stickers, bumper stickers, coffee mugs, the whole 9 yards. But until then, you're just going to have to tune in here, and you're going to have to share this with all your friends and your people if you want to get a glimpse at the Fact Finder 9000. Now, mind you, it's under very, very strict lock and key. And it's under 24-hour surveillance and constant armed guard. All right. So no nefarious dealings. Okay. So yeah, you have to have one bought special for you. So everybody, I want to say thank you. And I hope that you all have a safe, because the world is getting worse. It's not getting better. Okay. I want you all to have a safe, wonderful, and happy week. All right. And remember, in November, let's make a change. Okay. This can't stand. 2 years is enough. And before I go, I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Derek Larson, who's running for sheriff in Charles County, Maryland. Okay. He's a cop, not a politician. If we want this county to stay prosperous like it is, you got to bring 21st century policing into the 21st century. Okay. We'll bring it there. It's already there. All right. We got to get rid of 20th century policing. So make sure that when you go to the primaries in July, if you live in Charles County in Maryland, make sure you pull the lever for Eric Larson. He's a cop's cop, and he's going to take care of us. Love you all. Thanks. Appreciate you. And make sure you hit that share button.